Welcome, my cleanse champions. This is Jen, and here we are to kick off the start of week 4 and the finish of the challenge. So I'm so excited for you guys. You've made it so far through all of this, and we have just 1 week left to go. And so tonight, or through this presentation, basically what we're going to be going through is just a few last finishing touches on how to cleanse your body and to keep the momentum going after the cleanse challenge. And we're actually going to talk about what to expect post-cleanse challenge. What are some things that you guys should be aware of and look for and be working on, and how do you continue to maybe practice some of the habits that you've learned over the last couple of weeks. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive in here. And first of all, I want to talk about, just a quick recap of the cleanse for week 4. So last week, we talked about sleep and reducing toxins and how important it is to be getting your sleep during those critical hours between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. That's when the body does all of its work and repair to help you. So hopefully you guys have been working on improving that if you're not already there, and slowly shifting your sleep cycle. And then we touched on reducing your toxin exposure. So part of this, what you guys have been learning is that in order to maintain your health or improve it, it's a two-prong approach. One is to reduce your exposure to toxins overall, and then the second part is to support the body in eliminating toxins like we've been doing through this process. So last week with the webinar, you guys got the toxins checklist that you could download. If you haven't done that yet, it's still there and available for you to go ahead and do that. And you can download that and kind of evaluate your home and life environment to see where you might getting toxic exposure, and then choosing a couple of items to start working on to swap some of those things out. And we also talked about additional cleanse enhancements that you can do ongoing, incorporating into your lifestyle to support the body's health in the cleansing process, such as massage, yoga, acupuncture, dry body brushing, and infrared saunas. Now we're starting to wrap up here, getting towards the end of the challenge, where you guys are going to be turning in your checklist to qualify for prizes. So make sure you guys are keeping track of all of those points, racking up the points daily for, avoiding gluten, dairy, sugar, soy, and alcohol, for incorporating beets, grapefruit, and dandelion greens, for drinking plenty of water, exercising, hitting that goal of a 10 p.m. bedtime, and whatever that item of choice was for you. And if you guys haven't tried them yet, make sure you rack up your bonus points in this last week by doing maybe the liver flushing or castor oil packs, and certainly make sure you mark down your last 5 points for watching this webinar. So let's talk a little bit about how the mind and body are connected and how this affects cleansing overall. So essentially, healing can only happen in the body when it's in a relaxed state. So when we're in what we call like a fight or flight mode, or stressed out and running around all the time, or just moving really fast through life, our body is not able to heal. So it's during those times when we kind of chill out, relax, that's when healing can really happen, and that's also when cleansing can happen too, because cleansing is a part of the healing process. Whenever we're moving really fast through life, or kind of stressed, or in that fight or flight mode, our body reserves energy for those stressful situations, and it does not allow or allocate energy towards other processes that might be happening, such as healing or cleansing. And research has shown that there's strong emotions can actually change the chemistry of the body. Emotions such as fear and stress can actually slow down metabolism. They can increase depression and influence our overall well-being. If you guys are interested in learning more about this, I would encourage you to do a little bit of research about something called epigenetics, where in the study of epigenetics, it is showing that our thought processes, the negative thoughts that we have in particularly, can negatively impact our body, can create sickness in our body as well, versus when we have more positive thought processes, those things can help to keep us healthy and ward off any sickness or disease or conditions that we might be more susceptible to. So the state of our mind is extremely important for the state of our body overall. So essentially, what you want to focus on here that's going to help you, like this is the last piece of the cleansing process, is to cleanse your mind. As we were just talking about, our mind affects our body and our emotions. And so those negative thought patterns or constantly being stressed out can manifest sickness or toxicity in our body. You know, I touched on in terms of toxic chemicals, there are biochemicals in our body that can be negative or toxic to us, and those can be created by negative thought patterns. So a great way to cleanse your mind is through meditation, and meditation is different for everybody. But meditation helps to clear the garbage from our minds specifically. So all of that stuff that's been piling up all day long as we move through our day, at the end of the day, meditation can be really great to help empty the garbage from our mind, or it can be something that's really great in the morning time to set your mindset for the day on a more positive slope. So mindfulness helps to keep the space clean. So also just recognizing throughout the day whenever you find yourself in a negative thought pattern to do something to shift that, to maybe change your direction, put on some great music that's going to make you feel uplifted, to get outside, get some sun, some fresh air, whatever it is that you need that's going to shift your mindset overall. So the whole idea here, remember, is to cleanse the mind, to shift the mindset, to keep your mind in a more positive space. Now, when it comes to meditation, there's all different types of meditations that you can try out there. There's things called binaural beats, that's music that gives you the same aspects as meditation, or you can do guided meditations, or you can do deep breathing as meditation. Walking is even a form of meditation in some cases. And meditation is not meant to quiet the mind. I think that's where a lot of people get confused or feel like they're failing when it comes to meditation. It's not about quieting the mind or keeping it still. It's actually a space that's created to let all of those thoughts and feelings and emotions flow through us so that they don't get stuck inside of us. So when you're meditating, it's totally okay to have thoughts and things that are going through your mind. The purpose is to acknowledge them and then let them go and refocus in on your breathing. So let's actually do a quick body scan, a little bit of a meditation right now to show you exactly what it is that I'm talking about, and also to recognize where, you know, some of this negativity or being on the go or stress can be stuck in our bodies. So just go ahead and get, you know, comfortable wherever you are, hopefully not driving in a car, but seated somewhere in a, you know, or laying down, whatever position is more comfortable for you. And I want you to take in a few really deep breaths here. Fill in your belly, make it expand, and then exhaling, feeling the belly button slide back towards the spine, and do that a couple of times. A nice long big inhale. Exhale, let go whatever's been happening through the day so far for you. And one more big inhale and exhale. Now I want you, with your eyes closed and breathing in this kind of way, I want you to focus your attention at the top of your head. And as you take in a deep breath, I want you to imagine that that deep breath is cleansing the top of your head or filling it with air that's nice and pure. And then as you exhale, you're going to release all of the stuckness out and shift your focus down to your face. You're going to breathe in fresh air and perspective here as well. Nice big deep breath in. Exhale and let it all go and shift your focus to your throat. Again, here we're going to breathe really big inhale into the throat. Nice, refreshing, cleansing breath of air. Changing our perspective, shifting our focus. And nice, deep, strong exhale out, releasing any tension. Then you'll shift your focus to the top of your upper body, to your shoulders, across your chest. Breathe in fresh air and perspective here as well. Nice big inhale and exhale. And as you're doing this breathing, notice any parts of your body that might feel tight or tense or in pain. We want to shift our focus down now to our rib cage and our abdomen area, straight across the arms as well, to the forearms and the elbows. Nice big breath in here, fresh air into these parts of the body floods it everywhere. And a nice exhale, letting go of any tension, tightness, or pain that we might be feeling. And you'll shift your focus a little bit lower to your hips and across the bodies to our wrists and our hands. Nice big inhale into the hips. Noticing any tension that you feel here, cleansing that out with the breath. Inhale as large as you can and exhale and release and let it all go. And now shift your focus down to your thighs, that space in between your hips and your knees. A nice big cleansing breath here, breathing nice fresh air into this space of your body. And then exhale and let it all go. Shift your focus to your knees that do so much work for us on a daily basis, allowing us to move through this life. Take a nice big deep inhale here, cleansing the knee joints. Exhaling and letting any pain and tension go. And as you do, shift your focus down to the lower part of your legs, your calves, the portion that's in between the knees and the ankles. Breathe in fresh breath to this space in the body. Nice big deep inhale. And exhale, and again, let all of that tension go. And lastly, you'll shift your focus to your ankles and your feet that hold all of our weight for us all of the time. Breathe really deeply into this space of your body. Maybe hold your inhale at the top. And exhale, nice and big, and let it all go. And just notice maybe what has shifted for you by doing this breathing. The places of your body that were tense or tight that now feel more relaxed. Even your state of mind and how more connected you feel with your body overall. Now this is a form of meditation that we actually just did that only took us a few minutes. That helps us to release any tension or things that have been going on that are getting stuck in our body throughout the day. So you can use this as a body scan to do at any point in time. It's really wonderful to do before bed and just to breathe fresh air into every single part and cell of your body and to let go any junk that's accumulated throughout the day. So this is one of the ways that you can cleanse your mind in addition to all of the physical things that we've been doing to cleanse the body. Again, to just create this overall sense of health and wellness and improvement is a tool that you can use all the time moving forward. Now, in addition to meditation, gratitude is another great practice to have that helps us to cleanse the mind and to keep those positive thought patterns that we were talking about earlier that can actually promote health and wellness in our body versus the negative ones that can actually manifest sickness. So the gift of gratitude is so great. And right now, you can even look back at where you were 3 weeks ago before you started this challenge, where maybe you were fearful of the challenge ahead, you were probably anxious about maybe giving up some of your favorite foods or overwhelmed by the idea of trying new things, but you've made it. Here you are. 1 more week to go, and it would be amazing for you to sit down and maybe write some things that you're really grateful for through this experience today. You know, where are you today as a result of everything that you have been able to do? Maybe you're feeling more energetic, you feel a little bit slimmer and trimmer, or you're easily eating gluten, dairy, sugar, and soy and alcohol free. And be extremely grateful for this healthier version of you, whatever that might be. Everybody has been on their own journey through this process, and everybody has worked on the things that work for them. So this is your new baseline. This is the new mode of operation for you. This is where true transformation begins to happen actually from this point forward. You've tackled some of the things that have felt the most challenging, but you've also proved to yourself that change is possible. And from this point forward, this is where the journey really gets to continue. You've cut ties maybe with some of those old habits and toxic things that were really dragging your body down, and now you have the opportunity to continue on forward on this path to really support yourself. So I personally want to acknowledge you guys for all of the work that you've done through this process. And I want you to take a moment to acknowledge yourself. So maybe writing down some of the things that you're grateful for, and maybe some way that you want to reward yourself. Maybe it is getting a massage or going to acupuncture or buying yourself a new outfit, something that is continuing to be in alignment with some of the things that you're practicing. So going and eating cake is not maybe necessarily in alignment, but something that is. Treating yourself to a day off at the beach, or a trip that you've been wanting to do, something to acknowledge yourself for the hard work that you've done, and that's a show of gratitude for everything that you've accomplished so far. Now let's talk about what life looks like post-cleanse. So here we are, like I said, you're living at this new baseline that you've created, and what I recommend in order to maintain the results that you've already achieved, I recommend living in what I call the 90-10 zone. I used to play around with the 80-20 zone, but I found that the 80-20 almost leaves too much room for the fudge factor, and it's where we can really start to slip up with some of the activities that we want to maintain. So living in the 90-10 zone means being 90% of the time gluten, dairy, sugar, soy, and alcohol free, and reserving 10% of the time for room to indulge and maybe some of these things for a good cause. And how you can evaluate that is by asking yourself, is it worth it? When you think about how some of these foods have affected you or the positive outcomes that you receive, now you can make a conscious or educated decision around whether or not some of those foods are worth it for you based upon how they might make you feel. So when we break this down, like, what does that mean? What does 90-10 mean or look like? Well, on average, you're having about 21 meals a week. There's 3 meals a day times 7, so that means 10% is where you get a little bit of fudge factor. That's 2.1 meals, so maybe that's a Friday night or a Saturday night dinner out with your partner, or a celebration where you can indulge just a little bit but not overdo it and still maintain the results that you've achieved. Now, to help you do this, you can set some really healthy boundaries around this. So maybe some, rules, or I don't really like the word rules because some people like to rebel against that, but I like to call them boundaries, but they're also known as rules. Or just like, life guidelines for yourself, where maybe you would work towards only a maximum of 4 alcoholic drinks per week, like you don't drink on school nights. Or like we said, Friday and Saturday nights is the only time that you would indulge in maybe gluten or dairy or something like that. And getting in some type of exercise daily that's going to fit you, and remembering to breathe, like setting some, setting some goals for you to stop and breathe a couple times through the day, or doing meditation, like setting some healthy boundaries and healthy goals to continue with is how you can continue to maintain your results. And of course, like the simple acts of cleansing that you guys have been focusing on throughout this whole process, like you can continue to eat according to your metabolic type, like we talked about. Eating the right ratios of proteins, carbs, and fats is going to ensure that your body gets all the nutrients that it needs to actually cleanse. And incorporating beets and grapefruit and dandelion greens. You guys can still continue to eat these things. Maybe you want to lay off how much you've been doing it, but we're picking one thing per day or a couple times a week that you'll incorporate some of those things. Like we talked about, I mentioned a second ago, taking 5 minutes for yourself to meditate or do castor oil packs. Those are things that you can still incorporate into your regular routine. And of course, like we talked about way in the beginning, that fall and spring are the best times to set aside like a specific chunk of time to do some cleansing. So setting aside again in the fall maybe 28 to 30 days, or in the spring again, to actually do some specific cleansing where you give yourself it all and commit yourself 100% to going through this process again and being really good about avoiding gluten, dairy, sugar, and soy, and alcohol, and incorporating some of the cleansing foods and all the other aspects that we have really been focusing on. Now, something that I do want to caution you about is if you do decide to reintroduce these foods, the ones that we've been avoiding, so specifically gluten, dairy, sugar, and soy, and alcohol, I want to give you some caution about this, or some guidelines on how to do this appropriately, because you are operating at a higher level now with a cleaner engine inside your body. And so you know a different way of being, even though if it doesn't feel that significant to you, it actually is pretty significant on the inside of your body. So if you do decide to reintroduce gluten, dairy, sugar, soy, and alcohol, then you want to do it in a very strategic way to understand how that food is going to affect your body. So strategically introduce one item at a time. So pick your poison, as I would say, and eat it and see how it makes you feel. Notice if you get any reactions from it that would be a sign that your body does not do well with some of those food items. So those could be things like anxiety or acne or fatigue or even depression or having to run to the bathroom if it's just running out of you. Those are all signs that the food is not agreeing with you, plus more. I mean, the list of signs is pretty long, but just look for anything abnormal to happen. And reactions to foods can actually show up, as late as 48 hours after you eat something. So give yourself some space. So I recommend introducing one item at a time and waiting 8 to 10 days. So when I say an item, I'm saying like introduce gluten and then wait 8 to 10 days and maybe introduce dairy and then wait 8 to 10 days and see what happens. And just listen to your body and the reactions that can turn up. Like I said, sometimes they can turn up as late as or like an immediate reaction like a skin breakout or something like that can happen as late as 48 hours, and then it takes 8 to 10 days for those things to fully get out of your system. So that's why you want to give yourself some space in between. And again, this is all so you can understand how this food affects your body and how it might be toxic for you in some kind of way, so that moving forward you can make an educated and conscious decision about, does my body like this, and is this how I want to feel? So now that we've cut out those toxic foods, you have a clean slate to start with to really have a better understanding of how they do impact you, and then you can make that conscious decision on whether or not that's something that you want to endure or tolerate, or if you just want to keep going on feeling really great and avoid those foods as much as possible based on how your body reacts to them. And then just some final reminders here as we start to wrap up. So the cleanse is going to officially end Thursday, April 20th. Like I mentioned earlier, want to make sure that you log your points all the way through the end of Thursday, April 20th, because you're going to be sending me that points checklist. So I will send you out some email reminders and post it up on the Facebook group to remind you to send me your completed points totals so we can give away some prizes for some free personal training and health coaching sessions with me. And again, I do that all virtually, so you don't have to live locally to take advantage of those or be able to qualify for the prizes. And then I also encourage you guys to redo the stress indicators questionnaire and to fill out the column, the test number 2 column on that. If you guys need, I can send those copies back to you. Hopefully you saved a copy for yourself so that you can see how your score has changed and how much more healthy your body is actually feeling on paper. It's always really cool to do that reassessment process. And then, also I want you to continue the journey, to take what you've learned and continue to apply it, to step fully into that new you, to not hold back anything more. Now you know that, like I said earlier, you are capable of change. You can do this. And maybe there were things that you were really good at in the Cleanse Challenge and other things that you didn't really have the capacity to focus your attention on. So those are things moving forward that you can continue to make improvements in and incorporate whatever it was that you really couldn't give yourself the 100% committed to in the Cleanse Challenge. You can still work on incorporating those things as well and take all that you've learned moving forward. So I'm really excited to see how you guys finish this up, what your points look like, what your wins were, and I can't wait to have you share all of that with the group as we start to wrap up the Cleanse Challenge. And for those of you who are interested, if you want to take this one step further, because the cleansing process is really just opening up the opportunity to really understand your body better. And you're probably learning a lot about yourself, and there's maybe more things that we can dive deeper into. So I want to offer you a couple opportunities to continue this work if you're really enjoying it, and if you're finding that you want to take this work even deeper from a perspective of, maybe you want to achieve further optimal health, or maybe from the perspective of you didn't feel that big of a shift as you went through the cleanse challenge, and possibly that's because there are some bigger underlying factors that might be at play here. And I know I talked with some of you about this on your bonus Ask the Expert session. So if you want to dive deeper into your health and continue to take this even further, then I have 2 special offers for you guys. I have a gut health rebuilding group program that is actually opening up for enrollment here on April 11th, and it's called Get Your Gut in Gear. Or you can do some one-on-one work with me. If you're interested in doing some one-on-one work with me, then I encourage you to set up what I call a discovery call so that we can, check in about how you did with the cleanse and see what further support or assistance you might need to dive deeper into your health. When I dive deeper into people's health, we do some at-home lab testing to investigate your health further. So looking at hormones, looking at your gut health, looking at your immune system, and using those results from those tests to create a personalized health rebuilding program that includes everything from diet, rest, exercise, stress reduction, and proper supplements to support your body in the way that it needs it most in order for you to realize your best self and get to that optimal health place that you want to be at. So again, this is where one-on-one work, we can clean out any gut invaders, as I call them, work on gut health, balance hormones, and get long-term results. And for those of you who might want to dive deeper into specifically your gut health, I have, like I said, the Get Your Gut in Gear group program that is starting up in April. So this is an opportunity for you to dive deep into your gut health specifically. And with this program, we're going to do some at-home testing as well, where you're actually going to get to do a stool test to investigate your gut health, to look at certain parasites, bacteria, yeast overgrowth that might be contributing to leaky gut, or things like inflammation in the gut, how your immune system looks, and how well your digestion is going. And then based upon that information, I'm going to do some personalized recommendations for you for supplements to boost gut health, to get rid of any gut invaders, like I like to call them. And also, we're going to work together as a group over the course of 4 months in bi-weekly coaching calls to walk you through the diet, rest, stress, exercise, and supplement recommendations to help improve your gut health overall. Now, with this program, you also do get 3 one-on-one sessions with me to help personalize the gut rebuilding program for you, where we are going to go over your results in the beginning. We do a mid-program check-in, and then you'll be doing another stool test at the end to retest and be able to see the improvement of your gut and if there's any other things to work on. So actually, enrollment for the Get Your Gut in Gear program is open now, and there's only 10 spots that are available. Enrollment is going to close until is going to close on April 26th. And for you guys specifically in the Cleanse Challenge, you do get to save 10% off enrollment in the Get Your Gut in Gear group program. So you can see on the screen here, there's a link where you can access more information and sign up for this group program. You can use the promo code GUTCLEANSE to get your 10% off. And again, enrollment is open now until April 26th, and there's only 10 spots available. A lot of people last year from the Cleanse Challenge continued on into the gut group, because the gut group is basically, or the gut itself is basically the center for your health. I mean, everything is happening in the gut. The gut is connected to your overall health and well-being. So we focused on, cleansing the liver in this past program, in the Seasonal Cleanse Challenge, because that is a huge piece of the puzzle too. But if you didn't get results like you were expecting to, or you just feel like there's more work to do, then focusing on gut health next is the most reasonable next step. Your gut is where you absorb nutrients, so if it's not healthy, you're not absorbing nutrients as well as you think that you should be. It's also where we produce all of our brain chemicals and hormones that balance our mood. That so if you're suffering from any anxiety or depression or anything like that, then working on gut health can help to improve those things, as well as improving your gut health helps to balance your hormones overall. It boosts your immune system, and it promotes overall improved health and well-being. So this is a great next step for you guys if you're wanting to continue on working with me at a more reasonable price in a group setting. Then this is certainly the program for you. So make sure you guys go and grab your spots before all of those are gone, because they will go quickly. So all right, you guys, well, that is going to wrap it up for the last webinar of the Seasonal Cleanse Challenge. It has been a pleasure educating you guys, working with you. I will see you on the Facebook and via email for our final days, and I am so excited to see what kind of results you guys have at the end of the Cleanse Challenge. Don't forget, I'll be touching base with you to turn in your points checklist to qualify for prizes, as well as to follow up on your reassessments and see how you did in that terms. And I just want to be a resource. I'm available for you guys, so if you have any questions that continue, please post them up on the Facebook group, or if they're personal, something you want to talk about on the side, please shoot me an email. So awesome, you guys. Good luck in week 4, and I will see you on the Facebook group and in the emails.